Welcome to the Maine Outdoor Enthusiast podcast. I'm Paul.
And I'm Mark.
So this week we're going to talk about a little bit of a controversial topic. A couple controversial topics, actually. The debate about shooting at running deer. It's pretty heavily debated.
Yeah, amongst hunters. Yeah.
It's kind of a regional thing.
It is, yeah.
You see people that hunt out west, kind of wide open areas, and kind of the mainstream hunting things that you watch.
Right, they never shoot at a running animal, yeah.
Everything is animal standing still.
And even in the right position.
Clear shot at the vitals, everything perfectly lined up.
Yeah.
Which
and
doesn't happen in the...
And I watch a lot of hunting videos and stuff, and they'll even wait until the animal gets just right. At the right broadside, and
in some areas, that's great. You get those opportunities. Northeast, it's just not realistic.
No, it sure isn't. Not the way we hunt most of the time. It's It's nice when it happens, but if you waited until it happened to shoot, then you wouldn't be shooting.
I was thinking about that today, actually, and I was like, I wouldn't have shot very many deer if I waited for the perfect shot.
No.
I would have shot very few deer if I waited for the perfect shot.
Yeah.
Like almost next to none.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
I've had a few, but I also was thinking this week, and I think I came up with 5 or 6 right off the top of my head that I shot while they were running. I mean, in a full run and stuff, and in thick cover.
So we'll go over kind of our argument for it. Maybe play devil's advocate a little bit. I can see both sides.
Yeah.
I can see, and it's really kind of, there's going to be regional reasons why it makes sense in some places and not others. And personal reasons too.
Hunting methods, like I say, and I've watched a lot of podcasts, and they mention that, and the subject we're talking on right now, and they all say the same thing. If you waited you better take the shot you have when you have it.
You'll probably never get another one.
You're not going to you wouldn't get many deer tracking if you waited for a broadside shot, standing still.
Yeah.
So
before we delve too deep in it, this is episode number 11. I failed to mention that.
Okay, yeah.
So we're on episode 11. Haven't done one for a couple of weeks.
Lucky 11.
Is it lucky 11?
Yeah. Lucky 7, lucky 11.
Oh, that can be your lucky number.
Yeah.
We were on vacation, or at least I was.
Yeah. I'm always on vacation.
That's right. It's every day Saturday for you.
Yeah.
Although you seem to be the quote unquote busy one.
I have stuff going on.
I got a lot to do. I got a lot of stuff to take care of.
It's been a busy day today.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of things.
Well, you're doing a lot with the camp.
Yeah. Well, just life is. There's always things to do, and
you don't have kids, and
but I got things to do. I get requirements. That,
Mom has a kid.
Yeah. She's got to take care of me.
So we did do a quick video. We put some cameras out. We did do a quick video on the camp.
Which I told you after we parted ways there, and you were headed home. I was headed to the camp, just probably less than a mile from the camp. There was a deer standing in the road.
Oh yeah. You texted me.
That was kind of funny. That because I don't see a lot of deer in the road.
Check
up
cameras
there.
and almost get back to camp. And so you've done
right by the camp.
You've done a lot of work to the camp. Mom sent me some pictures the other day of you got the floors all torn up and replaced. Yeah,
I've got the subfloors in and replaced a lot of stringers. Camp floor was in pretty bad shape.
Yeah.
So
that'll be nice this fall.
Yes, it will. Yeah. Still got a lot of work to do.
It never ends.
No.
It's like that with a house or especially a camp.
Yeah.
Especially an old camp, log cabin.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of TLC to
just even we had hopes of getting a shed built, but that isn't. I'll be happy if I can get the groundwork done and maybe put just one of those shelter logics up to put the tractor in. I'll be happy with that this fall. We'll see if that happens.
I've thought about doing that with mine.
Yeah.
It's putting some sort of...
Yeah, just for this winter.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a busy couple of weeks, and now we're kind of getting back into the groove of things.
Yeah.
Family vacation's done. Just wishing for maybe a dry day here or there.
Oh, my goodness, there's so much water.
This morning,
It
it
poured.
just unloads.
And we're saturated as it is.
Like just
yeah.
hard, heavy downpours.
Yeah.
It's insane. So the water hole camera that we usually put out, that would probably be a no-go this year.
Oh, yes. Yeah. On the dry years, the deer visit that water hole up on the hill, up on the ridge. Yeah. I'm sure they have no need of that this year.
This is not a dry year.
No.
By any means.
I never thought of that, Paul. You're right.
Yeah, I always liked that spot. But this, it just,
waste of time to go up there and put a camera this year.
Yeah.
You'd probably see some deer, but not like, it's not like they have to visit that place now.
Yeah.
So
I guess, all right, we'll start with, we kind of backed up there just to summarize what's been going on, but we'll get into the debate on shooting running deer. So obviously we both, no problem shooting at a running deer.
No, like I say, I can think right off the top of my head, and I didn't think of everyone, but I think there was 5 or 6 right off the top of my head that all bucks that I've shot over the years running, tracking,
Yeah, it was funny. So I'd kind of, read a few articles and what people are saying about shooting at running deer and like this one guy. And one particular thing that I picked up on the article is he was a quote unquote expert, right?
Mm-hmm.
And talks about his 42 years of experience, and he's hunted from, now here was the first key part in the article. So he was against shooting at running deer, not having a perfect shot. And so I'm going to kind of pick his article apart and and
that's fine for him. If he's in situations where he doesn't have to do that and he doesn't want to, that's good for him.
He's basically setting the stage in his article. He had 42 years of hunting experience, and he's been fortunate to hunt all the way from, he's talking about like New Mexico, so basically southwestern United States, all the way up to British Columbia. So we're talking northwest. Nothing mentioned
the northeast,
eastward.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and he's going on, you got to wait for the perfect shot and this, that, and the other thing. So I'm thinking, okay, he's hunting in regions that are generally wide open.
Yeah.
Good view, probably good chances to see, to get a good sight of the animal you're hunting. May or may not be hunting large tracts of land. Maybe hunting large tracts of land, but probably hunting land that it'd be easy for a deer to get away onto a parcel of land that you can't hunt.
Right. On private.
So even though it may be a large tract of land, the parcel that you can hunt may be relatively small. I don't know for sure. So yeah, he kind of, went all through all these reasons why no one should ever shoot at a running deer. And, it made sense. His argument made sense for the area that he hunts in, but it absolutely doesn't make sense for where we hunt.
No.
And so like you said, as I'm reading this, I'm going through all the deer that I shot, and I'm like, man, I don't know if I've had, but maybe I had a couple deer that I've had like that perfect shot, deer's not moving, clear shot to the vitals. And, that was just a couple out of all kinds of deer. And he made the statement, he does not know of anyone that shot a deer running and had it be a one-shot kill.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I know all kinds of people that have shot deer on running, and it'd be one shot.
Yeah.
And they find the deer piled up. I mean, you've probably done it.
I most of the ones I'm thinking of right now, I did have to shoot more than once. One brought him down or put him in a bed where I tracked up to him and finished him off. Yeah. I can't think of any that were one-shot kills. So, yeah, for myself,
Yeah, I can think of some deer that I've shot that I shot multiple times, but I think only one shot had hit the deer. It probably was my first shot.
Yeah.
And that deer was probably running dead.
Yeah.
You were with me on that deer. First one I thought of, it was that 215-pound buck that we tracked Thanksgiving Day. That was with the doe back in 2009.
Yeah, I was a little ways away. I know. Was the deer running when you shot it?
Yes, he was moving pretty fast behind me.
I didn't. Yeah.
So pick out an opening. I can see patches of brown.
Yeah,
coming.
I do know you only used one shot to kill
was-
it. We tracked
And
it.
I
Yeah.
fired at him. I think I fired more times as he's run down through the woods.
Yeah, yeah. I just know
Maybe
that,
not. But anyway, yeah, he was picked out an opening, waited till he filled the opening up,
Yeah,
fired, and he disappeared.
yeah.
And then there he was, piled up.
Yeah.
Heck of a blood trail.
Yeah, I knew when I remember going.
And you were certain, you're like, I'm pretty sure I heard him fall.
Yeah. Well, I knew when we went up and we found where you'd hit it, and that the deer was not going to go far. There was a lot of blood on the trees and stuff.
Yeah.
That was going to be a deer we're going to recover in short order, which we did.
Yeah.
So
as I was thinking, I'd read a few more articles, and as I was, thinking about kind of opposing points of view on why people don't shoot at running deer. Obviously hunting in places where there's not a lot of cover. Woods aren't thick.
Yeah.
So Maine is thick. It's thick woods.
Yeah.
To get a clear shot at a deer, if you're hunting in the woods, if you're not on a road or a field, you're going to have to be on top of the deer.
Yeah.
So we'll say just getting a clear shot of the vitals is hard in the Northeast. Another thing in the Northeast, we have large tracts of land.
Yeah.
So if you get a running deer and you shoot at it, and you get one into it, it's not like he's going to go for 5 minutes and then he's on a piece of land you can't hunt.
That's never been an issue where any place we've ever hunted, there's no danger of them getting onto some place that
you can't.
The places we hunt are tens of miles away from anything that's private or developed or anything like. There's no houses within I don't know how many miles of where we hunt. So there's no danger of ever happening.
No. So probably the most important factor that, when I think of why I don't hesitate at shooting at a running deer is there's usually snow.
That's the biggest thing right there.
That's the money right there.
So anytime you hit a deer and you hit it, no matter where you hit it, the odds of you recovering it are really good because
as long as you've got
snow
time on your side.
Yeah.
And even then you can pick it up the next day.
You can.
If he's superficially wounded. But there's so many stories too of deer that weren't mortally wounded.
Yeah.
That acted like, they just wanted to bed down.
Some of the ones I shot, I've just grazed or whatever. I didn't hit them in the vitals or hit them hard at all, but they do want to bed. They wanted to bed down, and I would
you ended up getting the deer.
Yeah, yeah.
So it wasn't a shot that was gonna really hurt the deer all that bad.
Yeah, I don't know anybody that hunts the way we do, that goes into the woods and tracks. That I don't know anybody that wouldn't shoot at a running deer.
Yeah.
If they had a shot, they're going to take it.
There's people that are adamant that it's unethical.
Well, they can, and then that's certain. They're welcome to their opinion. That's there's no law against it, and so
no, but you can't be afraid to shoot.
Yeah, and like I say, those guys that are adamant against it, none of those guys hunt up here the way we hunt. So
no, and like I said, reading
none of those people.
The articles that I did read where people were, like very, very strongly opinionated against shooting, at running deer. They weren't obviously familiar with this type of hunting in the Northeast, because everything that they gave examples of to justify their stance, which is fine, was wide open, you get a long shot, and you hear this rule too. So another thing that I see come up quite a bit is what they call like the 90% rule, or don't take a shot that you don't think you could make 9 times out of 10. And the problem I have with that is I think of, let's say if you look at an elite athlete, whether it's a golfer, basketball player, they think they're going to make the shot 100% of the time.
Right.
When they do it.
Right.
So anytime that, I guess personally, you got to think, like, you got to imagine yourself making the shot. Yeah. You can't have any thoughts of doubt that you're going to miss. Right. Or thinking that, well, that's 50-50, or you just got to think you're going to do it. And you're not going to do do something 100% of the time.
Right.
But you got to think that,
Yeah.
this is a done deal.
Yeah.
And you look at the elite athletes, like basketball players.
Yeah. If they make
Golf
50% of their shots, they're doing really, really good.
But they are thinking on every shot they take.
They never take a shot they don't think's going in. They
think
wouldn't
they're
take
gonna
the shot.
If you start getting in your head, then you're not going to make the shot
No.
as often as you would. So I think, the confidence part and that being able to picture yourself, whether it's a standing deer or a running deer, if you picture yourself making the shot, if you can imagine that and you believe you can do it, that's one step closer to being successful with it. So I kind of throw that whole 90% rule, like you shouldn't even be thinking about missing.
No.
You do your work before, practice and prepare, know your gun well, and then, it's going to happen. And if it doesn't happen, well, it was a fluke.
Right.
Right. A tree jumped in the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was a lot of interesting articles, and I can see both sides. But I mean, in the Northeast, shooting at a running deer, you're not going to get anything if you don't shoot.
No.
And I think you taught me that at an early age. I remember deer hunting and bird hunting with you. You'd be like, okay, you're going to shoot. And I can remember I had about half a second from when you said, okay, I can shoot the bird, that if I didn't shoot the bird, you were going to shoot it.
Yeah. Yeah.
you never gave me a lot of time to.
No.
You just pushed me out of the way.
Well, yeah. You have to be, you can't, you can't be dilly-dallying around something like that, especially a deer or something. And you got to make the shot when it's there, and you got to be quick about it. Or
I can remember as a kid, bird hunting or something, I better shoot this bird quick, or Dad's going to shoot it out from under me.
Yeah.
And not feel a bit bad about it.
Well, no. They're not gonna stand there and pose forever. That's for sure. So
no, they won't. Some of the ways that we hunt, and I know people in the Northeast can relate to this, but people in other parts of the country may struggle to, relate to shooting at running deer.
Understand why we do, yeah.
But I mean, I don't hunt to please other people.
No.
I hunt for a whole other host of reasons than that. So people can, be upset about someone shooting at running deer, but it's kind of a non-issue with me. I know why I do it and why it's important to do it, and I sleep well at night.
Yeah. Yeah.
And looking back, shooting at, especially when you have snow and you hunt the way we do, when you shoot at a deer, it generally is you either get it or you don't.
Yeah.
It's either you get it or it's a complete clean miss and no harm, no foul.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool how that kind of always, that always works out.
Yeah.
You would think, I guess just your own logic, you would think that you would come up with wounded animals a lot more, but that's not the way it works. So one thing we should discuss is practicing with your gun for shooting at running deer.
Yeah.
Which is something that and you've mentioned it before, we're not really good about.
No,
spending a lot of time at the range.
I am not, Paul.
With our firearm. So I know you say you're not, you don't feel proficient or as proficient as you should be. But when you're shooting quickly, making split-second decisions, it's a whole different ball game.
Yeah,
a lot of what's going on is it's just muscle memory and your instincts taking over, because you don't have time to think about anything really.
But you're
not aiming.
No,
it's like shooting ski.
Yeah. You're right.
Like shooting clays.
Yeah.
And so one thing that I used to do, I used to shoot a lot of ski.
Yeah.
My buddies and I would go shoot boxes and boxes upon ski every fall. It's a lot of fun, pretty cheap to do back then.
Yeah.
And that in itself, just doing that over and over and over, even though it's a different gun, that was kind of our tune-up before hunting season.
Yeah.
Now, one thing, you see a lot of people do, which is one thing I've never done, just because it never made sense to me, is they spend a lot of time on a bench, shooting off of sandbags, shooting with their gun in a vise, And I had done a video, just a funny side note, on that 30-06,
Yeah.
7600. And I was just leaning on it was like a card table, foldable table. So I'm shooting with a peep sight, no aperture in it. So pretty big hole that I'm looking through. And I was just I was getting comfortable with the gun. My goal was I wanted to shoot about a box and a half of shells through it. So I basically sighted the gun in, get it close where I was consistently hitting an 8-inch pie plate, we'll say at 100 yards, freehand. And which is perfect for type of hunting we do. I don't need to be cutting hairs at 500 yards off a bench with my gun. So, I got everything somewhat dialed in. Then I was just getting comfortable, so I was just crouching down on the table. And so I had a lot of comments, people saying, you really should have that gun in a vise to get it, and I'm thinking it's not practical for me to sit there and shoot all afternoon with my gun in a vise on sandbags, because when I'm out hunting, everything's going to be snap shooting, shooting offhand, shooting real quick. And I wanted to get a feel for the gun. And how it operated and how it felt. Me actually doing the aiming.
Yeah. The only reason that you want it in the vise, and the only time you should ever put it in a vise, is to make sure that gun is on, just to sight the gun in. And then from there on, it's all about you shooting.
All about getting used to
without
it.
a vise.
Get muscle memory, knowing your gun well.
There's a place for putting a gun in a vise, only to make sure that you're taking any of your gun is on.
So I call it QA, quality assurance.
Yeah.
Same thing you would do in a lab. If you're running a lab and whatever testing equipment you're using, you run them through a QA process periodically to make sure that what you're measuring is what you're measuring. So first couple shots when I go to the range, I'll put it in the vise. And usually every year it's like 2 or 3 shots.
Right.
I don't have to touch anything. And then I'm free to...
So once you know your gun is on, then it's all about you.
Then if it's off, it's my fault.
Yeah,
it's something I did.
There's no question that if you don't hit something, it's not the gun, it's you. And yeah,
so
for sure.
Shooting from a vise and shooting from a bench has very little value to me. It's just not practical. Try to come up with as much real life scenarios as I can.
And like I say, that's what I was doing. I sighted in that pellet rifle, and then I go out and I did some shooting off, the bed of the pickup and stuff and only I just went over some mechanics, trigger squeeze and keeping my cheek and keeping my eyes on the target. But then, it's like you say, it's different things, just pulling up and freehand and shooting freehand. And
I can remember going to the gun club with guys, and a lot of the guys were big on how tight of a group they could hold, and that was kind of a big deal. And I would take a couple shots, then I would start shooting freehand. Well, obviously my groups are not
you're
half inch or whatever they're shooting.
No,
and it was almost like confusion in their eyes. Like, well, who cares? It's a I'm like, it doesn't make any sense for me to sit.
No, you're right. There's no value. You're not going to be shooting
off
a
this
deer
bench
off
all
a bench.
Afternoon.
No,
just so I can turn around to everyone and say I shot a 1/4-inch group or half-inch group at 100 yards.
Right.
I mean, it makes you feel good at that point.
Nice to know if the gun can do it. But once you know the gun can do it, then
move on.
Yeah. It's time to see what you can do, not what the gun can do.
So which I plan on doing more skeet shooting this year. Probably pretty soon.
Yeah.
At least I've got a new gun that I haven't shot yet that I'd like to play around with, shotgun. And Lacey's got a newer shotgun that I think she would enjoy. And she's actually, surprisingly, she's always been a good.
Can you find shells for that gun?
For hers?
Yeah.
Oh, easily. That's why
I was going to say they had them at Walmart.
Oh, you can find those everywhere.
28 gauge.
It's insane.
28 gauge?
Yeah. So it's insane. That was one of the things. She had her eye on a 410.
Yeah.
And I was like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
When you can find shells, they're like $52 a box.
Yeah.
For 410 shells.
Huh. Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make sense.
And so there was a 410 that she liked, and then there was a 28 gauge that she liked, and I was like, yeah, let's do the
28
20
gauge.
because they had, and I had asked them at the gun shop. I'm like, how hard is it to get? And he's like, we can get it all day long. They had a whole
Yeah,
the whole
I
shelf
happened to
full of it, and it
notice
wasn't very expensive.
over to Prescal. I saw they had it there. So
Yeah, but yeah, 410. We've got a little single shot 410 that I think Lydia's going to use this year, and I hate to see her shoot it too much because
hard to get.
One is finding them.
Yeah.
Two, $50-something a box for 410 shells is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
But whatever. I guess it is what it is. So I guess in Maine, just to break down, shooting at running deer, we've got snow, dense cover, and large tracts of land.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
You're not going to get, and most people are, that hunt in the Northeast that are familiar with this understand that 100%.
Yeah, I don't know of anybody that wouldn't take a good running shot, at a deer if once they've identified it as a legal target. If they get a shot at it running, the people I know, they're shooting.
Yeah.
So, and I'm shooting.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
And someone gets upset. Well,
yeah, like I said, everybody's welcome
sorry,
to their.
bud.
Yeah.
You do you.
Yeah.
So the other thing so we're talking about shooting at running deer. Now you get the other end of the spectrum. We like to do a lot of, I guess, what we would call bird hunting.
Yeah, partridge hunting. Partridge hunting.
Which would be grouse.
Yeah.
Ruffed grouse. But grouse hunters, what is it? Hunt with a dog and shoot them on the wing.
Yeah. I will say this, that I've hunted partridge. I've been around partridge hunting for close to 60 years now. And as a kid, I was raised around from a very young age, and the people that I knew, I never heard of anybody shooting a partridge on the wing growing up. I mean, it was something you did. You shot them where they were.
So,
in fact, they didn't shoot if they were on the wing.
So here's the other argument, debate we're going to talk about is shooting birds, partridge, grouse, standing on the ground, on the bank, in a tree versus shooting them on a wing. So you got two camps here. You got people that think it's unethical to shoot a partridge sitting on the bank, sitting up in a tree. The big conundrum with that is it's usually the same people that are sassing you for shooting at a running deer are then sassing you for shooting a bird that's standing in the road.
That you can 100% kill.
Now, if you're going to use that logic,
while
I'm making a higher quality shot at a bird,
right?
Well, then they'll say, well, you're using a shotgun and you got a bigger pattern, and it increases your chances.
Yeah,
it's easier to shoot them when they're flushing with a shotgun because you've got more of a pattern.
Yeah,
but still, I am increasing my chances of shooting the bird if it's sitting in the road versus flying.
Right. Making a good clean
it's a higher
kill.
Quality shot.
Yeah.
So you find it's really a regional thing. You've got people that have grown up in different parts of the country that are accustomed to
doing things different ways.
The way they do things in their region. Yeah. You got some guys that think it's, I don't want to, almost blasphemy to shoot a bird on the ground or out of a tree. It's in Maine. That's a tradition.
It is. It's the way almost all, like I say, I've been around bird hunting for a long time. Seen a lot of people do it.
Yeah.
And still to this day, that's the way it's done by, I don't know, I don't want to throw percentages out, but I bet you it's over 90% of the people that
I would even dare say
that hunt birds, they road hunt.
The guys that sit there and say it's unethical to shoot a bird on the road have shot a bird out of a tree, whether they were a kid. You got to start at some point.
Yeah.
And I can guarantee
there's not many Maine people that are that way, that are really tied because most everybody is like myself and you, Paul. They were raised. You take the opportunity you're given, and we will shoot at birds on the wing.
And we shoot them on the wing every year.
We do, but
it's a great feeling.
But I'm not going to go kick them to get them to fly.
No. So,
Yeah.
you know,
And I bet we eat a lot more birds than they do.
So
Not that makes any difference.
well, here's
but-
the other thing. And you know what? Who was I was listening to a podcast, and I forget which podcast it was, but one of the guys on the podcast was like, there was a bird standing in the road, and I was trying to get it to fly so I could shoot it. And the other guy was like, why the heck you doing that? You want some pellets in the breast or something?
Yeah.
It's like, shoot it in the road.
Right.
And yeah, so I mean, my family loves grouse, partridge meat. We eat it a lot. It's kind of a mainstay at camp. We've got a healthy grouse population, great habitat for it up here.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't want to be picking pellets out of my breast meat.
And you were taken out as a child, and now you're taking your kids out. How many 10 or 12-year-old kids are going to shoot a bird on the wing?
Yeah,
they're difficult to.
Oh, especially grouse.
Yeah.
That's probably the toughest game bird.
Yeah.
To hunt.
Yeah.
They're incredibly fast flyers.
And they
get up off the ground
and
so
they
quick.
always put something between you. They'll pick the spot where you've got no shot to flush. And yeah.
So yeah, one thing about bird hunting in Maine is it's a great way to introduce kids to hunting.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of action.
It's usually
typically.
the starting point up here for getting a child into hunting. Is,
you can basically customize it to the kid. I mean, you can drive around. So in Maine, extensive logging roads and big tracts of land, which you can hunt from.
Yeah.
Can't shoot from your vehicle. But you can get out of your vehicle and shoot them in the road. They're privately owned dirt roads in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
So you can, fall time's a beautiful time of year. You can have some nice warm days.
Slayed back and
Ride or give them snacks.
Have a lunch. Stop
someplace, have a lunch. That's one of so bird hunting, and it creates all these fond memories for a kid because, and I don't know if other places in the country are big on this, but Maine used to be big. You've had fish and game clubs that would have hunter's breakfast.
Yes.
So that was always kind of a tradition.
They still do, some of them.
We would go to a hunter's breakfast. Usually opening day.
Yeah.
Another thing that we did was I always skipped school.
Yeah.
Even before I was old enough to hunt.
First day of bird season.
Me, you, and my grandfather.
Yeah.
And Grandpa used to always say, we're playing hooky today, aren't we? And Mom would write me a note, and she would be honest. Paul's going bird hunting with his father today. He won't be in school on such and such a day. And so we'd go bird hunting for the day. And Gramp didn't take a lot of time off.
He did not.
He owned a business.
Yeah.
And that was one of the days that he would do. And you look forward to that hunter's breakfast or wherever we would meet early in the morning to have breakfast. Then you'd have lunch.
Yeah.
You'd kind of have a destination that we would go into, have lunch. And so it creates a lot of good memories for a kid. Now, if you're sitting there, not to say that it can't happen, but if you're sitting there with a 10-year-old, or nowadays they can be any age in Maine that they can
right back
carry
when
a
you
gun.
were young and I was young, it was 10-year-olds minimum before you could hunt. So.
Imagine taking that kid. You want to introduce him to hunting, but now you got all these rules and restrictions that aren't totally going to make sense to a 10-year-old.
Right.
They don't have this. Kids aren't pretentious by nature. So they don't have this need to, have this pretentious persona about certain things. So if you're telling them that they have to shoot a bird only when it's flying, hunting with a dog, and all these, it changes the whole game for a kid.
Yeah, we would never do that.
You start losing the fundamentals of it. Yeah. Now, this is my opinion, you get the kid, exposed to this stuff and just, getting a few birds.
Yeah.
They get the excitement, the whole experience, maybe they get to clean it and stuff like that. As they become a proficient hunter, if they make that decision later on in life, that, I've shot enough birds, I only want to shoot them on the wing.
Right.
I mean, and they're doing it for, that's their conviction.
Yeah.
Then so be it.
Yeah. I'm 64. I've shot a lot of birds.
And you still don't.
I'm not going to just shoot them on the wing. In fact, the wing shooting's going the other way for me now. The reflexes aren't what the eyesight and the reflexes aren't what they used to be.
It's still pretty good, but it still feels, when you shoot a bird on the wing, it feels good.
Yeah, and we've shot plenty of them on the wing.
And do it every year.
But like I said, I didn't force them to fly.
But I'm not kicking them up.
No.
Now, I got a funny story about, so on the flip side, these people wouldn't have a problem going to a reserve or a ranch where these birds are planted.
Right.
Now, one of the guys at work, just across the border, there's a place where you can go hunt pheasant. And he came back, and I think they spent quite a bit of money to go do it. And he was like, he goes, I don't know, it wasn't right. He's like, you basically you see the bird sitting in the brush.
Right.
He's like, you basically had to go over and like kick it out of the bushes. And he goes, and then even then they wouldn't.
That's a canned hunt.
Sometimes he's like, yeah, that's not for me.
No, that's a canned hunt.
So he technically was shooting him on the wing.
Yeah.
But he just didn't sit well. With him. And I mean, to each their own. Some people would love that.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's their prerogative.
I would probably agree with them if they had and they did have a place right in town that they did that, here in Fort Fairfield. Yeah. And I was never interested. And you paid so much a bird, it was pheasant.
They raised them right there.
They raised them right there and plant them in the field, and you can go out and run your dogs. It was good for training dogs and stuff, and maybe sharpening up your wing shooting skills a little bit, but it never even crossed my mind to ever participate in it. So
I will say, wing shooting a pheasant versus, and I don't do it. I've never shot a pheasant, actually.
Yeah, I used to shoot a lot of them, but
we see them around. But they don't fly like a grouse does.
No, it's out in the open, in a straight line.
They don't fly fast.
No, it's out in the open.
Man, a grouse takes off.
Yeah.
Fast.
The grouse hits his top speed, I think, 6 inches after he takes off. He's going.
Insane.
Yeah. They actually say a pheasant is a faster flyer than a grouse, but I'll tell you, it's a lot easier to shoot.
Are they faster?
I think they are. I think I've seen the numbers, and I think a pheasant is actually a faster flyer than a grouse.
Then I'll have to look it up. I wonder if it takes them longer to reach their top speed.
Yeah. A grouse, a grouse is moving a foot off the ground. It's like he's top end already.
And if you've ever watched one maneuver through the woods,
they're amazing.
It looks like a fighter jet.
They're amazing.
Like if one's coming into land, they don't know you're there.
Yeah.
And then even in summertime, I've had birds coming in. You hear this it's almost like a whistling or like a and they're gliding in. Actually, you had one almost running into
last year on where we were deer hunting.
They just kind of
he came right down. The alders were. He was coming right at me, about 8 feet off the ground.
That left a mark.
And then he right over my head, and he banked it hard to his left and went right down in it was right behind me. I could hear him land right behind me. Yeah. But they're amazing in the woods, how they can, and they're built for that.
Yeah.
They're by nature, that's what they do. They fly in the woods, and they can.
And they're a tough bird.
They are a very tough bird.
I've had plenty of birds that required second shot.
Yeah, they're a very tough bird.
And you're thinking, man, I smoked them.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah. Yeah, we had one you shot
it on video.
On the ground, and you smoked him, and he took off. It was amazing when you look back. We
watched that video over and over.
Yeah, that bird could take off after you shot it with the 12 gauge. Yeah. And he did.
There were feathers everywhere, and you could see the pattern of the gun hitting the bird.
Yeah.
And it took off, and you're like, wow, what the heck?
They're a tough bird.
Yeah. It must have pellets just hit.
Didn't hit anything really vital.
Yeah. He lucked out, I guess. Anything else?
No.
Bird hunting?
No. One of the things, Paul, and we haven't been in the woods a lot. We're talking about bird hunting and stuff, and I haven't heard anything about the bird population or anything good anyway. I haven't seen any birds. The times we've been in the woods, we haven't seen any.
No, usually we do. Yeah. Which has been concerning. And not that I'm going to be because I don't spend enough time. I don't live in the woods. I don't work in the woods.
Right.
But I deal with a lot of people that make
do.
their living in the woods,
Yeah.
and they've conveyed to me that they haven't seen
And
many birds,
I haven't seen
and which confirms, you know, I mean, with me,
Yeah.
usually on our fishing trips, we'll see some birds.
Yeah. Well, you get it. You know, if you make 2 or 3 trips in the woods,
So
you'll,
this year was kind of an oddity, you know, it kind of comes up. You're like, I haven't seen many birds this year, but it could be just me because I'm only making a handful of trips into the woods.
But you, like I say, you hear other people talk, and people that do spend time in the woods.
But
And
you talk to people that are in the woods 5 days a week.
I haven't heard anything that. What I've heard is that, you know, there's not many birds.
Yeah.
So
Hopefully it proves me wrong.
yeah,
But
we'll enjoy. We always shoot birds. We'll shoot some birds, and
Yeah.
and we'll get out and have a good time. And
it's really the, you know, and we failed to mention this on the last one, the little scouting episode we did, our last podcast. We talked about preseason scouting, and a guy did mention in the comments, you know, bird hunting is a good time to scout.
And he's right.
I'm like, yeah, duh. I mean, that's what.
Yeah, he's absolutely correct.
We spend a lot of time.
Yeah, you really
bird
get
hunting areas that we deer hunt.
Right, and you get a feel for and you're looking while you're bird hunting. You're looking for tracks.
So, and I told him, I was like, yeah, it's a good point. You know, it's kind of a kill 2 birds.
Yeah, and we do that.
One stone.
Yeah, anytime. Well, anytime we're in the woods, we're looking for deer sign or whatever.
But bird hunting, that's kind of our bird hunting areas tend to be
right.
A lot of places where we deer hunt.
And it's a reason to put us in those areas, to put us in the woods, because it's hard to make time to just go in the woods this time of year. So, you know,
and totally.
Yeah, that gives us
Totally
a reason to be
that.
there. So
that part of it. So
yeah.
So it won't be long. We're middle of August.
Yeah.
Well, beginning of August.
Yeah.
And
no, we're middle 13th.
Middle of August, and
we're the 13th. That's the middle-ish.
The end of September will be bird season.
Yeah.
And it's great because we get to do a little bit of fishing combined with bird hunting.
Yeah.
And then bird hunt a month, and then
get into deer
season.
Hunting.
Jeez, and I can't believe that's coming up.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like we just finished.
Yeah.
It's like, where the heck's the time go?
The years, and especially as you get older, the years spin faster by, Paul. That yeah. You learn to you better appreciate them. You better appreciate the times that have out there.
I mentioned this the other day. You know, a lot of people, they post on social media and stuff. They can't wait for deer season to get here. Hurry up and get here. Yeah. And I find myself saying, holy cow, I don't want it to come too quick because I
don't
really
want to wish your life away.
I really look forward to it.
Yeah.
And God, it goes by so fast.
It does.
And part of me almost wants things to, I want it to get here, but I kind of want it to slow down. Because, man, blink of an eye, we're into December.
Yeah.
And it's
over.
Wintertime.
And it's wintertime.
Yeah.
For 6 months.
And you're missing chasing deer through the woods. So, so don't rush it.
Yeah.
It'll be here.
Yeah.
And then it'll be over. So, anything else?
No.
That just about covers it. I
like that shirt.
You've got...
I got it. Yeah. I like the color though.
Well,
I like the color.
I come downstairs and
you look like Hal Blood.
Yeah. Do I?
Yeah, I think he's got one of those.
He
shirts
wishes
there.
he was this handsome.
Yeah. Well, he's got a shirt like that anyway.
Yeah.
So
kids will keep you honest. So I come downstairs just before we come out here, and my middle daughter Annabelle, she looks at me and she's like,
and she's honest.
She was, Dad, you look just like Christmas. I said, "Jeez." All right, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm going out with your grandfather.
Yeah. Shoot.
For a little bit.
Yeah.
So, I look like Christmas.
Yeah.
Deer hunting colors.
Yes, that for sure is
that's you got to get in the...
That's one of those Filson shirts, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a Filson.
Yeah. I have to take out a loan to get one of those.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Yeah. So...
They don't give them away.
They do not give those away.
They last a long time, though.
What do those cost now?
I have no idea.
I think the
Maybe
last I saw, Paul, and
$125 or
they
something.
made two different. I don't know why I'm going off on this subject there. I just
I
like
know.
that shirt.
What are we?
They made two
Is this a
different.
fashion show?
They made They made a lightweight and a heavyweight, don't they? In those
Yeah,
shirts
I think
now,
so.
the Alaskan Guide shirt. Is that what they're called?
This is a heavyweight or a standard weight.
Yeah.
My goal is to have one in every color.
You're probably pretty
No,
close to
I-
that goal, aren't you?
Now they got some blue ones and stuff that I don't.
Yeah. I like that
don't
color
care,
though.
but yeah,
They made it in a green and black too. I think that
you've got that.
I don't think I do. I have otter.
Oh, okay.
I think it's called.
Yeah, I've
otter
got a
or
green and
something.
black, then a white and black. And
Yeah, I don't think I have the really green color.
Yeah.
I think I have like an otter. It's a dark otter and black or something like that.
Yeah.
So
everything costs a lot
yeah,
nowadays. Jesus
yeah, and
Christ.
you're one to always say you get what you pay for. And yeah, you'll have a shirt
Well,
that'll last you a long time.
You know, I don't buy a lot of stuff, but if I'm going to buy something,
Yeah.
I want it to last long. I
Right.
mean, I hate buying something and it not
Right.
panning out or
Yeah.
being garbage, and then you feel like you just lost
Yeah.
money.
Some of those shirts you buy like that and you wash them a few times and like it's gone. It first just doesn't look right. Those, the more you wash them, seems the better they look
Yeah.
or whatever. So, yeah.
Yeah, their wool's the same way.
Yeah.
I've always
Yeah,
been really
like-
happy, and I know people balk at the price of a lot of their wool,
Yeah.
but man, it's
Yeah, their wool jackets,
man, it's-
$500 or whatever. So
Yeah, it's. But I mean,
it's a lifetime
do it
investment.
once.
It's a lifetime investment. So
We've got some of Gramps stuff.
yeah,
That he's
I'm
had
still
from
wearing
the-
his Filson vest, and it's still in. So he's been gone for 31 years. And he died in 92, and
and he probably had it since the
yeah, he actually I think got
70s
it
or
from
80s?
LL Bean. They carried some of the Filson back then, and yeah, that vest I'm wearing now, and you could probably put that in a package, and it might pass for brand new.
Oh, it looks. I've got the exact same
yeah,
vest, but a green one,
yeah.
and it looks.
I mean,
It looks
the
just
wool
like
isn't
the-
all brushed up or anything.
No.
It's still nice and compact, and yeah, it's an amazing, yeah,
But yeah, it's not.
it's an amazing piece of garment.
It's not
but,
cheap.
Yeah, it's not
I'd
cheap.
be interested to hear what he paid for that back then.
I happened to look the other day. A few years ago, they were $105. I believe now those vests are $150.
No kidding.
And they were $105 just a few years ago, and I'm sure he paid way less than that, way less.
Yeah.
And I think, Paul, I just saw I think it's $150 for that vest. So,
We were in the Kittery when we were on vacation. We stopped in the Kittery trading post. They carry.
some Filson.
They've got a Filson corner there.
Yeah.
I was going through a bunch of their stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't recall picking up a vest because I already have one, and I should have
Yeah.
looked at the price of that.
Yeah.
There was a jacket there. It was like like their canvas material. I've got some pants made out of it
Right.
that I bird hunt with, which feels like it's indestructible.
Yeah. Wax cotton.
Yeah, but it's wax canvas or whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think the jacket was like $400 and something bucks.
Yeah, they're not cheap for sure. But I
But-
didn't mean to get off
No,
topic there.
lasts forever.
I like the looks of the shirt. So
Yeah, well, I look like Christmas.
yeah,
So,
no, you look like a deer hunter.
according to Annabelle.
Yeah.
Well, at least I can look like a deer hunter.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess I can get that part down.
Yeah.
So, and nothing else?
No, I think that's it there.
I got to get the canoe finished.
yeah,
that's the
when you
next order
start,
of
yeah,
business.
we'll, yeah. You're going to need some help with the fiberglass and resin and stuff. I'll give you a hand.
Yep.
We'll block some time off.
Oh,
to
and just a
finish it.
quick addition, I guess before we end it, we're going to start having a few guests on.
Yeah,
So
that'll
it'll be a
interesting.
surprise. Well,
So
Slowly
when the guests come, are they taking my spot?
yeah, you're going to be booted. No, actually, I got a third. I'm kidding.
Narda asked me that.
No.
She says, "Are you being replaced?"
Yeah,
I said, "Well,
yeah.
I have no idea.
No.
I wasn't thinking so, but if I am, that's all right too.
No,
I can,
I've got a third set up.
I can be replaced.
There's enough room
So,
for everybody.
Yeah, I can be replaced.
Be enough
So,
room for everybody. So
Yeah.
yeah, I got a third mic and
Yeah.
stuff, and
Yeah.
it'll be fun. We got some people that are pretty interesting, and
The two you've got that I've heard, they're real interesting guys. Both of them.
Yeah. So that'll be.
Any hints to who they are, or you're gonna save?
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
You don't want to give any names out before, just in case it doesn't happen.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, I guess that sums this one up. I think we kept it under an hour, maybe a hair over.
Yeah. Well, you can edit it.
Yeah. Cut her down.
Yeah.
So, all right. So until next time, get outside.
It's good for the soul.
See ya.